Good morning, everybody. What's going on, guys? Checking in, running maybe a teeny bit behind, but we're not here to talk about that. I don't know why my thumbnail's all blown out of proportion here, but that's really kind of cramping my style here a little bit. Let me see what I can do about that. How's everybody doing this morning? Huh. Terrifying thought. See, it's doing that for that too. Why is it doing that? I don't know why it's doing that. I guess let me try this. I'm doing pretty good, man. Just trying to get this tuned in here. I don't know. What's it look like on your screen? So, like on my screen, all I can see is like the very top like corner. Like the rest of it's all blown out. So I've got to like shrink this a whole bunch. I don't know what it's looking like on everybody else's screen, but it's kind of like annoying me a little bit. I don't know why it's doing that. Eric just woke up. Hey, man, glad to see you made it for the beginning of the podcast. Getting all settled in here. We're going to do the usual. We're going to wait till about 9, 10-ish to kind of everybody get filed in here. I know not everybody knows we're podcasting on the rig, so the ones that are getting notifications, that's another thing, too, I want to talk about, is if people have been getting YouTube notifications. But we'll cover that here in a little bit. But just kind of give everybody a chance to file in here. You know the deal. Kind of hang out with you guys, do it up with the chat. We do have a few things we want to talk about today. Actually, I got some topics and things to discuss. Finishing my post-workout breakfast here. So I'm not full screen. Okay, so am I just like in the corner then? Because let me show you, if I can get it pulled up here, Eric. This is properties. So what I'm seeing, oh crap, of course. So it's not going to let me do that. I don't really know how to show you. So let me do this, see if I can't get it to jump over really fast. Well, I guess I could do this. Just to kind of give you an idea, you'll see it pop up there real quick. I see it's how it's just showing like the cutoff corner. But if it's showing full screen for you guys, then that's whatever. We can rock and roll with that. I'll just pull it back to full screen and tell Google they're drunk. So, today, I'm working on getting me like a backdrop for back here. Of course, I'm not going to keep this. Once I start podcasting, I kind of go dark, you might say. But I'm working on getting some kind of backdrop to throw up here because I don't really have an extra room or anywhere in the house to do this stuff. And I like my computer in here and out of the way of everything, so I can kind of like close myself off if I need to record or do anything like this and people are home. So it's kind of convenient to have it where I can like shut a door and keep people out. Oh, let's see. So what I was doing. Oh, okay. I know what I was doing. Mitchell said, "BP Hero going live." So we're up to 10 viewers already. I know. I don't know why. I don't know why that's doing that, Eric. But if you say it's working, we're gonna say it's working. So it's just kind of funny because on my preview screen for YouTube, like on my broadcasting software, it's showing up normal, but on my screen for YouTube, it's literally just showing like, like maybe like this much of my head. But if you say it's working, I'm gonna take your word for it, my man. We're piling up to 12 viewers already. That's kind of cool. Usually we only get about 20, and it takes a minute for everybody to get here. So you guys are filing in already. I love that. What's everybody got planned for the weekend? I know myself, I'm not doing a whole lot of anything besides watching the Super Bowl. I thought about doing something fun with you guys for the Super Bowl, like some kind of giveaway or something, but I don't know. I don't know what to think of this Super Bowl because I need the Buccaneers to win. just because, I live in Chiefs country and I'm not a Chiefs fan, so I really need the Buccaneers to win. So I don't know if I want to go putting up, any kind of bets or anything against the Chiefs, because that's a bad play to make considering it's the Chiefs, but it's also playoff Tom, and you can't bet against playoff Tom. That's almost kind of more crazy talk than anything. Let's see here. So I'm looking for something. Oh dear. I don't want to do that. Oh, here we go. This man says credit card. Man, what? Y'all following me? I pay my bills. Just saying. All right. Save image as pictures. Oh. Oh, popping off 25 viewers. So a couple of things I am going to discuss today. I do want to talk about why I didn't do honorable mentions in the video. I've had several questions about that. And I figured, CJ, I ain't got time for your crap. So after the rants and everything else that I've had on this podcast about selling bats and people asking all kinds of crazy questions. Oh, what's up, Jorge? People asking all kinds of crazy questions. CJ takes it upon himself to ask all of the obvious questions, thinking he's so funny. I'll elaborate on why I don't swing the Monsta stuff. I've had that question a lot too, and I have it every year. So I'll discuss that for a minute. I'm not going to go too in depth because this is social media, and the second you say something slightly questionable, the whole world knows about it. So I will discuss it for a brief minute though. But anyway, CJ, wherever the bat post was, it was like all the details were there. How many swings they had, whether it was returnable or not, whether it had paperwork or not. And this guy comes in and asks all the obvious questions just to be a troll. And he thought he was so funny. And here he is giving me crap about it again. I ain't mean enough to ban nobody, though. So I guess just keep doing it. I don't know. What's up, Squish? How you doing, man? Danny Pittenham got a rain day at work today. What are you doing? Were you working outside, man? It's cold. I will say I used to work outside, and it's funny because I used to work for the railroad, and you're outside in all kinds of elements, man. Nobody cares what's going on out there. They want you to move a train, and that's really all they're worried about, just about any cost. And going from doing all that, being in the wind and the snow and the rain and the sleet, even some hail sometimes, and then going to working indoors all the time and doing nothing outside besides hitting softballs sometimes. Or on the colder days, like there's days where I'll grind out a colder day just to get some swings in. Man, I'm telling you, it's turned me into a sissy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I used to be able to go outside in like 20-degree weather and tolerate it, but man, anymore I'm like bundled up like an Eskimo just for a 40-degree day. Let's see. So I'm gonna go ahead and make me a small list of topics here since I've already got a couple, and I don't want to forget because if there's anything else anybody wants to hear or talk about today. Totally feel free to chime in. I'm up for whatever. Sometimes I kind of like freestyling this stuff. Just waiting until Marty Ball. Is anybody in here playing the Marty Ball in Kansas City? I know I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Be my first tournament of the year so far. Dimitri says, got that right. Can't handle that below 40 weather. See, that's a crazy thing, man, is I used to. Like, I lived and worked in Alabama for a hot minute. And it was, like, down in Birmingham area where, I mean, it gets cold and everything, but, like, they don't have a lot of snow. Well, the one time we're down there, they have the snow for the first time in I couldn't tell you how long. And, man, people were just losing their minds. Like, it's kind of funny because there's, like, a big pile of snow in the parking lot there when I show up to work from where they'd cleared off the parking lot. And, I show up in shorts. I always just threw my overalls to work on over my shorts and t-shirt and stuff. And I show up in shorts before I throw my overalls on, and everybody's like, "Are you insane? There's a pile of snow standing right next to you, and you're standing there in shorts." It's like, man, it's just what you do, man. This is Missouri. A 40-degree day is a heat wave. So let's see. No, I'm not going to Branson. So that's the weekend of my daughter's birthday. So we're going to do some stuff for her, do it up real big. You only turn 5 once, man, so we got to make sure she gets it up right. Then be joining the gang down there for Mardi Gras. Let's see. What's up, Matt? How you doing, man? Tyler says he'll be there playing in my division. I'm here for it. Make sure you come say hey. Keeping that 6 feet, of course. But anyway, Jeremy says he might go to Liberty. So I'm loading this picture in here. We'll discuss this real quick. While, let's see, I want to do add image. I'm telling you what, guys, trying to learn how to use this broadcasting software has been a challenge at times. But, where'd it go? That's weird. I lost my file. Where's it at? So let's escape that. OKC at Battle for Bats. Is that ASA or is that U-Trip? I didn't. I've heard of that, but I've never been down there or anything. But is that a pretty good time? I've never ventured down that way. I've heard that OKC's got some pretty nice fields though. Okay, so it is U-Trip. Now, I'm assuming that's just an ASA park, right, where they go play nationals and stuff. That's ASA only, correct? So you won't be playing there? Save it. Go here. There it is. All right, so really quick, I do want to, let's hit OK. See, now that's blown out on my screen. So I don't know what it looks like on your screen. Slight bit of a merch drop announcement here. I know we got the shirts going. If you have not got your shirt order yet, I'm going to put that one up here in just a minute. But we do have some fresh hats here in stock. Went with the usual. We got the gray and black bphero.com. And mixed it up, went with a little bit of red, white, and blue theme for the others. And then we got the beanies back in stock too. The beanies are one size fit all. I've got a handful of each of these hats as far as a small, medium, and large, extra large. So hit me up if you want to get your hat game on. We can get you fixed up with that. And then we also, see if I can find the post. Also cranking out some shirts again, boys. It's been a long time coming since y'all got some shirts. The shirt order will close tomorrow at midnight. I'm going to have it sent off on Monday. Hit OK. So we're just doing the usual stuff here. I've got something big coming for the shirts very soon that I'm really excited for. I hope you guys enjoyed as well. But they're not done yet. So we're just rocking with these for now, as usual. You guys been begging for them. So we're gonna roll with them. Oh God, hang on, guys. So we do have our shirt order open again. We're not doing the custom numbers and names or anything on the back this time. We're just gonna do the usual. And we got the long sleeve. The only thing available in the long sleeve is the white BP Hero with the stars and stripes. And then the other short sleeves, we got yellow, we got blue, we got gray, and then we got red as well. Just try to mix it up with the colors at least a little bit. I'd like to do some different color variation stuff with this maybe, but it's hard when you sub a shirt. For those that don't know, basically you need to use an ink that's darker than the shirt itself, or it's going to show up as discolored or just going to show up weird. So it's hard for me to do a darker color because, you can't change a darker color lighter. So it just kind of presents things as a challenge sometimes. You could screen them and it may not come out bad, but I just don't know about the smaller font. things are written below. I don't know how that would come out on those, so I'm just kind of hesitant to do that. Maybe we could just cut off the home plate and do it that way. But I'm also trying to mix it up and do a little bit of variety too, so I don't want to do too many styles of the shirt. We've got something else coming soon, and I've got a couple more in the pipeline that we're working on. So we got the hats, we got some shirts. Be sure to hit me up if you need any of that stuff. We can get you taken care of. Really excited to have the beanies back. I mean, they're pretty good. They're not too hot. They're perfect at keeping your head nice and warm without just making you feel like you've been running through the Amazon jungle sweating to death. All Pacific headwear, of course. The hats are 404 M's. Pretty much the only thing I want on my head. I'm kind of picky when it comes to stuff like that. As you can see, like, I've got the 404M headbanger hat on here today. They don't carry a lot of 404Ms. They kind of mix it up with their styles and stuff a little bit. But I don't know if it was me just getting in their ear enough about the 404Ms. They decided to run back with it, but they did. So appreciate that, boys. Yeah, Brad, I don't really know what to do with the roster stuff. If anybody has any suggestions or somebody I could reach out to, I've tried KO, and she tried helping, but man, I just got a disaster going on with my my roster situation. I don't really know. I guess just maybe email U-Trip and see if they can get me going. I'm one of those guys that's got 2 player profiles, and it's not because I'm sandbagging. So I got to get that lined out and get that figured out. Somehow my manager found a profile that I had from 2013 and tried adding it to the team. And boy, it's put a hole in the universe because he goes to add my player profile from last year, and every time he puts in all the information from my player profile from last year, it always submits the old profile from 2013. I don't know what's going on with it, but it's annoying. I'm trying to get on that roster so I can play me some softball. Bye, Squish. Have a good day, man. Everybody say bye to Brett. Brett's checking out, going back to work. Got to crank out some more corn dogs for the day so we can go play some softball. So, Jeremy, yeah, the ES341 Pacific hat is a nice hat. I like those hats. They're hot though, man. I feel like they don't breathe very well. But the one thing I will say about them is, like, if you're looking to just go somewhere nice, and of course, you know, we're softball guys, so when we go somewhere nice, we'll still wear a softball hat or maybe a decent looking softball shirt. So I have a couple of the ES41s that I do like to wear, like if I'm like going out with the old lady or something like that. You need to look somewhat presentable. I like wearing those ES341 hats for that. Definitely just a little bit more of a cleaner look, maybe a little more presentable than the 404M as far as like the casual look as opposed to the sports look. So not necessarily that I hate them, it just maybe I'm just spoiled from wearing 404Ms for so many years. So we're going to get rolling here with the topics. Been sitting here blabbering for 20 minutes already. Love to see a home run derby with the BP Hero, Fat Guy BP, and War State guys. Man, I ain't trying to get embarrassed. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm not a distance guy. I never have been. I mean, sure, I can hit them over, but it's man, my distance, I could just about tell you every swing how far it's going to go. It gets consistent. It's consistent, and it gets out there, and that's about all it goes. I could probably count the times on one hand that I've hit a ball over 400 feet. It's just not my thing. And you mean to dial up about 320, 330 on the rig? I got you back. Jorge says, I need to get hooked up with a shirt. Yeah, absolutely. Just reach out to me on either Facebook or Instagram. Facebook at the BP Hero, Instagram at the BP Hero after the podcast here, and I can get you fixed up. Like I said, short order is going to be closed up on Friday, and then I'll have that stuff sent off on Monday, and my guy will crank out the shirts for me, and I'll get them in the mail to you guys. So we're going to get things rolling here, and one thing that I did have a few questions about on the best of 2020 video that came out in 2021. I did not do honorable mentions this year, and there was a couple of reasons why. And as far as like the U-Trip stuff goes, I said it in the intro that, dude, there's just so many good U-Trip bats right now. So many. It's pretty much anybody's game as far as who's making good bats and everything else. And it would have been easier to make a list of bats that I didn't enjoy. And maybe some of those bats weren't good performer-wise, but then the other spectrum of it was maybe it was just stuff that I didn't like preference-wise or feeling feedback-wise. And it had nothing to do with any of that as much as it did just kind of feeling like you could have put any bats in the honorable mentions. But if I was going to do honorable mentions, probably the one thing I would do, let me get them pulled up for you here. Probably the one thing I would do is the let's see if I can find it. Can I find it? Here we are. One thing that I would feature. Oh man, what's the ads? What's with the ads playing through these? One thing I would feature would be the Dudley Doom models. I thought these things were pretty good. Kind of a sleeper per se. You know, we didn't expect a whole lot going into this, but I was really blown away with how these bats hit and how they performed. They seem to be pretty durable too. We did run into a little bit of an issue with a rattle in either one of these, and from what I've gathered, basically it is just glue inside the bat that probably they used too much glue and they put it together, and the glue ran down the barrel, and then as the bat flexes and everything else, it's going to break loose the glue that just ran down the barrel, and the rattle on these sounded just absolutely horrendous. But even these being a little bit light and me not necessarily being a big distance guy anyway, especially with a lighter bat, there was one right there. Like, I mean, that's a no doubter just about anywhere. That got out of this big ass baseball field that we were playing on this day, and I thought these things were great. The glue rattle did kind of make me hesitant, but I'd like to save the honorable mention somewhat for stuff that, like, you know, you might not have seen coming, because like I said, we know the Eastons are going to perform. We know the Micans are going to perform. We know that the Pures perform, all that stuff. The DeMarini is back in the game, guys, 100%. Don't sleep on him. I know some guys still do. I had a comment the other day. Some guy was saying DeMarini's overrated and Pure is trash. Well, I mean, thanks for stopping in, bro. That means you sat through the whole video in order to see that. So joke's on you. But so I like to save the honorable mentions for stuff that maybe you don't hear a whole lot about or see people talking about. And in my opinion, these bats are something worth mentioning. Headbanger Sports is carrying, I don't know if you can still get these Dudley Dooms or not, but I know that Headbanger is carrying the, what is it? I guess the Dan Smith Dudley. I'm not, to my knowledge, it's the same bat as what we're rocking here with, look at that, going into the lab stuff. It's the same stuff that we're rocking here, but it's going to have a great big inload to it as opposed to these that were okay with the inload. The Dan Smith Dudleys are going to have just an absolute sledge of an inload to them. So that was definitely one that I felt like was worth mentioning. If somebody was to come up and say, hey, you know, what's a bat that not everybody knows about, that's probably going to be one of the first ones that I suggest. And, yeah, football field and a baseball field, center field must be a mile. It was a mile and a half, bro. There's no way anybody's getting a ball out there unless you've got your name on a bat. It's a poke. We'll see. What about the red Dudley Doom? Straight Militia says, I'm assuming I think that's the balanced version, correct? So all these things are going to be the same barrel with just different loading to them. There's no need to get too scientific about it. The only thing that you might lose coming from the inload to the balance is a little bit of performance since you're losing that mass of the inload. But if the barrel's good, the barrel's going to be good. So the balance one should be fine. And I felt like the barrels were good on these. So, yeah, you could go with any offering of the loading, and I think you would still have a pretty good bat. If I remember correctly, the red ones are the balanced ones. And then the second one, I wish Brett was here for it. Because, let's see. I wish my man was here so he could see he was giving me so much crap that I did not put this thing into the best of 2020. The axe. I guess I was corrected. I did say Baden axe in the video. It even had it titled Baden axe at one point. But I guess from what I can kind of gather, Baden is basically the parent company to Axe, and Axe is its own brand, if I've got that correct. And I'll say, like, no lie, the performance of this thing was good. Yeah, it was cold. Yeah, we were hitting hard stuff, but there's stuff that I hit that even on a hot day, I would say, man, that ball's hit well. And like I said, it's kind of funny if you if you follow the Facebook page or any of that other stuff on social media. I think I might even put the clip in this video here. One of the furthest balls I've hit in quite a while, not even counting the roll in the bounce and everything else. I did that just to be dumb. and I don't do distance claims, but one of the furthest balls that I've hit in a while, all variables and temperatures and balls and temperatures considered, was with this bat. It had to be somewhat, I would think, just based on how the field lays out behind this field over here and left. I'm guessing it probably would have been about 420-ish, I'd say. And that's all variables considered, hitting other bats in the cold and stuff too. So the performance is there, no doubt. No doubt about it. The performance with this thing was good. Just this handle just did not jive with me, man. And I know people are saying, well, use your hand this way or put your hand on it this way and that kind of thing. And like, you're probably right, really. I mean, I'm not going to lie. You're probably right. I wasn't holding it right. I held it how I felt it was going to give me the best advantage with the overlap grip. That's what people are saying, if you're overlapping, just do this or do that. I can drop a pinky and still hit with it. I mean, it's a subjective thing, just like anything. Like you like a balanced bat, I like an end-loaded bat. This handle is same. It's subjective, unless you go back to like a baseball-style grip, which I did. Let's see if I can find that clip in here somewhere. Yeah, right here. So I just said screw it and decided to see what was up with the baseball grip. I haven't done this in like 5 years, and I was surprised. I could see the benefit right away from going with the baseball grip with this thing. I mean, it was, I saw, I wouldn't say a noticeable difference in exit velocity, but I felt like there was somewhat of a difference in exit velocity just because it was kind of benefiting maybe the whip of the swing a little bit more, being my hands how they should have been on this style of knob. And they did say, and I do get it, that they don't plan on, I would have liked to seen the exit speed on that one. I did, I asked them because I posted this video, and then it wasn't but a couple days later they reached out to me and just kind of talk about a few things, just kind of like say, hey, thanks for the review and this and that. And I did ask the question, like, because I mentioned at the end of this video, like, if they could take this barrel and put a different knob on it, just like put a traditional bat knob on it, I think these things would take off. But, being true to the brand, that's not going to work because they're the axe handle, they're the axe bat, it's their signature thing. That would be like Tesla making a gasoline car in I guess, easier terms. So it just wasn't going to work. But I will say that, man, this barrel was stupid good. Durable, too. That's another thing that impressed me and something I do kind of try and keep in mind when it comes to how bats break in and everything else. And that's another thing that I really like having the tester for, is to just kind of monitor how a bat breaks in. And all right, I'm done with you. And it's easier to monitor how a bat breaks in, and that can kind of give us a gauge on durability as well, because more times than not, almost every time it's going to last, it's going to be durable. It's not going to break until it fails compression more times than not. I'm not saying every bat is that way, but in my experience and with a lot of the bats that I've swung, it's not going to break until it fails. And this thing showed no signs of breaking, and it was still passing compression even after the straight molly-whopping that we put on it on this day. So I did feel that one was another one worth mentioning, but that would be probably for someone transitioning from baseball. Maybe, you still got those baseball hands kind of burned in your brain and everything else. Maybe that would be beneficial to you. And I even talked with somebody that I know it's big time into baseball still and lives and dies by the axe handle in baseball, and even they didn't care for it in slow pitch. So it's just one of those things. It's going to be subjective, and it's going to be something that I personally don't think it's beneficial in the slow pitch game. But if it's beneficial to you, then by all means, pick one up and try it out. And if you like it, there's nothing against that. That's something else that I think gets mistaken a little bit is when I do these reviews or do these best of videos that people are saying, like, if you're not swinging this bat, then you're not swinging a good bat. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying these are the bats that I enjoy the most. And like, if I was going to step in the box and hit something, it would be something off this list. And if it was everything was on this list was on the fence, that's the order that I would grab them in, just to be 100% honest. Have I swung any of the pure two pieces? So I've swung the Meltron and stuff. Let's see, there was a Meltron and one other one I thought. I can't remember. Maybe I just have swung the Meltron. It's been a minute now because that was last year. I didn't swing any two-piece pure stuff this year. But the two-piece, for example, like the customs that we did with pure, the Solar and the Eclipse is what the two models were. I don't think those really took off and caught on in popularity. Not even my models, just that model in general. But man, those things are so good. They're durable. They're very durable, and dude, they're so good. Like my friend Dylan has one. I doubt he's listening, but if he is, thanks for stopping in. But he's got one, and dude, he was beating the tar out of it. Just kind of like, this thing's gonna break in or it's gonna break. It's gonna do one of the two. Dude, he was hitting some absolute nukes with it. He's got a couple of Fab 14s that he is just locked in with. I mean, it's unbelievable how hard he's hitting the ball with them. And he went back to swinging that pure just for, giggles and just to kind of take some swings off of his Fabs. And, dude, it was hitting the ball just as hard. I mean, they break in and they're good. And I think more people should have gave him a chance, honestly. I mean, I've still got my 2-piece. I doubt I open it. I've still got one 2-piece, and I've still got one 1-piece. And then I've got my game around. I think I've got a couple others laying around. I don't even know. I've got a garage full of bats. I'm trying to sell some of them. It's going not so well. Maybe because of the rants and people seeing that stuff. I don't know. But it's not going well. Jorge says, I think 2-piece is better than 1-piece? To me, that's all subjective and everything else as far as like what you want, performance and feedback wise. Performance, I don't feel there's a huge difference in 1-piece and 2-piece stuff. It's just going to be like the 1-piece stuff. Is it going to be as forgiving on your hands more times than not? Like you're going to get more of the balls off the end cap. Like if you hit a ball off the end cap, it's going to sting your hands. If you hit a ball off the handle, it's going to sting your hands. The 2-piece kind of helps take away from that a little bit. There's supposed to be some science behind the whip and everything else with a 2-piece bat, but I've never felt any big differences or anything, even going from like a really flexy handle to a stiffer handle. But I'm not saying it's not there, but I haven't noticed it. But, I'm also not a bad engineer. Because I know that I remember Don Cooper saying one time when they were broadcasting the Major World Series, Don Cooper did say that a 1-piece bat will always out-exit velocity a 2-piece bat just because there is no give. But, I don't know how many miles an hour. I doubt it can't be much or they'd be illegal. So there can't be a huge gap in performance there. And also, again, with the preference thing, like if you can hit with a 1-piece, hit with a 1-piece. But do know that it's going to make you pay for it if you do miss. Now, I will say that I feel like the Pure Integrities do a good job of being a 1-piece bat. And even if you do miss with the Pures, I don't feel like you get your hands burned really bad. But something like an Easton or something like that, it's going to burn you on a cold day for sure. Oh, Jordan Dean, you missed the first 30 minutes of the podcast. Well, good news. When this thing is over, you can go back and rewind and re-listen as many times as you want. But how about the Cardinals picking up Nolan Arenado? That was a huge pickup for sure. I'll be interested to see if he sticks around. Hopefully he does. I mean, he's got a pretty big contract and it's got a lot of years on it, but he's got a lot of opt-outs in there. So hopefully he's not just like a rental. Because I do feel like the Cardinals stole him for the guys that we sent over, and I think the cash was probably just part of buying out his contract a little bit. So I think that's huge. It does suck to see Colton Wong leave because, man, could you imagine the infield we could have had with Arenado, DeYoung, Colton Wong, Goldie over there? It would have been wild. But I don't know. Colton Wong kind of had some weird vibes. I know of a few different times. There was rumors of him going around saying, he didn't want to be a Cardinal and everything else. And one thing about Cardinals Nation, if you don't know or don't follow the Cardinals, is like our players are loyal to us, and the second they say they're not, usually a lot of people give up on them. And I feel like that might have been part of the situation there. But I saw that he signed with the Brewers. Good for him. Brewers are going to be a good squad again this year. And I just hope he boots every ball that we hit him. I know it won't happen because the guy's a machine, but sometimes that's just how it bees. So anyway, enough with that. We're going on to the ASA stuff as far as like the honorable mention goes. And I haven't. Everybody that I've seen talk about this bat enjoys it. I can tell you that for sure. But you don't see him for sale. You don't see him anywhere really. Let's see. There we go. You don't see him anywhere really. I mean, sorry, distracted with something. You don't see him anywhere for sale. You don't see him, people hyping him up. But if it's, one of those guys that like, posts the 85 bats they have in their collection, and somebody's like, a Suncoast, is that a senior? Like, no, it's an ASA bat, and it's actually pretty good. Now, this one is definitely another one that it's going to make you pay if you miss, even being a two-piece. And that's why the one-piece versus two-piece thing is really subjective, because everything's going to have a different feel and feedback. And I don't know if I'm assuming it was probably the handle on this being super rigid, and maybe just a little bit of the barrel technology as well. But on a cold day, this thing was horrendous. But every now and then you would hit a ball and be like, man, that thing jumped. Like I had the clips to put in this video, actually, from where I hit it on the really cold day. And I can't remember if for whatever reason, I didn't put them in here. I think I might have lost them or just decided it wasn't worth messing with. But I hit a few balls that even on the cold day, I was like, man, that jumped. Like I need to see what's up with this thing on a warmer day. So we let it warm up and dry up a little bit and went back out and hit this thing. And man, I thought it was just mashing the ball. I mean, everything we threw at it, it hit hard. I was pleasantly surprised with how this thing performed. The sweet spot was a little bit small, but it's another one of those things, just like the one-piece bat. If you're consistent with striking, then it's something that I think would be worth checking out if you find it on the cheap. Hang on, we getting them Facebook notifications. What's everybody going on about this morning? Oh, Tyler Riff says following. So guys, I do think, I don't know if you've been following the podcast for a while. I kind of played just like some music, like real low in the background, just like some like kind of like chill, relaxed, slow beat music in the background sometimes. And like, I feel like that'd be a good like a filler for some of the silence here where I've got to do something on the computer or anything like that. But I just haven't really messed with it because it's one of those things that I just never really, I asked for feedback on some stuff and I don't get it. So it's just one of those things like I don't really know whether to do it or not. But I think I'm going to kind of roll back with that again. I've got a couple of sources that I can download some stuff like that from, just to kind of be something to just kind of chill and relax type beat. I do like that. Mitchell said, nice blue jeans out there, Brian. Yeah, I actually, on that day, I talked Brian. I've done that a few times. If you pay attention to some of the videos, like when Brian was still living with his parents, he would drive right by my house and the ball fields and everything else to get home after work. So I'd be like, hey, man, you feel like stopping and pitching a round or two? And I, I mean, he's a softball junkie. He'll never say no. So I was definitely grateful for him to come out and throw a few rounds of BP to me. Oh, what's up, Adam? How you doing, man? Hey, Fat Guy BP in the house, y'all. Go over, like, comment, subscribe to that channel too. Why not, right? My man out here with the quality content. And you know what? While we're talking about Fat Guy BP, let's talk about something else. And it was something that I had on the list, and it's something that I get questioned a lot. Monstas. If you want to see monster reviews, head over to Adam's channel, Fat Guy BP. He's got a handful of monster reviews on there. And Slow Pitch Bat Bros has some on there as well. He's in love with his monsters, and as far as I know, Adam has had a lot of fun hitting the monsters that he's had. But the main reason that I'm kind of not a monster guy, and I'm not gonna like swing them and review them and everything else, is honestly it has a lot to do with the hype. Like, you see used bats selling for, sometimes $250, $300. Like, that's just insanity. I mean, it's just insanity, whether it's product demand or, supply and demand or whatever else. I don't care what it is. Like, that price for a used bat is just wild. And I don't feel like paying that price for that bat is worth, like, if it maybe, and I say maybe, it would be worth it if it was head and shoulders above the rest performance-wise. But I've swung them. I don't feel like they're head and shoulders above. Like, I would put just about any bat from my last couple of best of videos up against a Monsta, and I feel like I could do with one what I could do with the other. And by no means, like I said, that's not taken away from them. They're performers. Like, you're just kind of silly if you don't think that. But I can't review a bat and tell people, hey, this bat was so good, and then expect someone to go out and pay $250, $300 for a bat. Because I have noticed in some of the stuff that I do and some of the content that I make that if it's something that I'm hyping or if it's something that's kind of a hot topic on the channel at the time, that prices will fluctuate and kind of move around a little bit based on what I'm doing. And that's not what I want. I don't want to control the market in that aspect. So that would kind of be another thing too. Like, what if it came out that I did say that they were good or they were just as good as everything else? What if, the prices go up even more? Well, why pay $300 for a bat that, you could go out and buy a brand new creature for $200 and have something that I feel like would be just as good. I even think like the Anarchy 22 a day is still relatively affordable, brand new if I'm not mistaken, and even on the used market. But again, with the Anarchy stuff, just like the Easton's, what I talked about, like I personally feel like it's the same soup in a different bowl. I've had a couple of guys, comment and say otherwise, and while that may be, I've never felt like, man, this bat is so much different than that one. Like you got the Odin and the Amped. I swung the Stay Humble and all that stuff, and like it all, besides barrel size fluctuating the feedback, I felt like it was all practically the same. So whatever's affordable of the Anarchy stuff, buy it, because I know that their prices are getting kind of wild and crazy too. And same thing, I don't feel like, like what is it, the Demon, I think from 2018 that I made number one, if I remember correctly. Those things, if you find one, people are just like, mortgaging their houses to have them. It's just not worth it. Drop down to number two, whatever number two was that year, and rock and roll, or even go with a different number one from whatever other list. Like, I feel like the balanced of all things, me and my inloads, the balanced EST was one of the better ones that I've swung in a while, as far as like the number ones goes, if I was to compare number ones. And dude, it's just as good as an Anarchy. It's just as good as a Monsta. And the Creature, I had a ton of fun swinging that Creature this year, even being a short barrel guy, and something with the big inload. Just, I don't know, just something with the big barrel half ounce worth and mic and stuff just really jives with me, unless it's a D2E Psycho. That's a whole different story. So that's kind of the thing with the Monsta stuff, is like, I'm not gonna, say, hey, this bat is really good, force everybody to think they have to go out and spend, some kind of insane amount of money on a bat just to have whatever performance there is. And kind of the other thing too is their pre-orders and things like that have been known to be lengthy, just like Pure. And I'm kind of putting my foot in my mouth a little bit, because just to be 100% transparent here, this will get back to somebody, and I'm sure I'm going to get some pushback for it, but I've dove down this road and there's no turning back. I'm not going to Quentin Sears and moonwalk my way back out of this. The time that it takes for pre-order sometimes, and I do know that Pure has gotten better at supposedly doing that. I've had someone reach out to me after my best of video and say that they have addressed that issue, and maybe they have, and if they have, good. But all the things that I kind of despise of with the Big M is something that Pure also did or has done, as far as like the pre-orders and availability stuff goes. Now, the other thing with the Big M is the owner, and maybe it's because he knows he has such a loyal following. He knows that, if he tells someone to screw off and refunds their money, that he'll find someone else to buy that bat. I mean, everybody would be a liar if they say that if they were that successful at selling bats that they wouldn't have that in the back of their mind somewhere, because, everybody's entitled to something these days. Just look around Facebook, or not, just check out the last podcast where I talked about that. Everybody's entitled to something. Nobody should have to wait. Everybody should have, direct line of communication with the owner of the company. That's not a thing. That's not real. That's not practical. And, some people, take it upon themselves to engage in a battle with the owner of Monsta, and, where's my bat? I'm tired of waiting, give me something else or whatever else. And he'll just refund their money and just tell them to stuff it. And I'm personally not a fan of that. I don't think that's right. Just don't make yourself available for that line of communication is kind of the route that I would go with it. That's the route I would go with it. I mean, you got countless people as far as representatives and people working for you. So maybe just don't make yourself directly available, or maybe defer that to someone else. But him being abrasive is definitely one of the other downfalls. That, like, I'm not gonna review one of the newest hyped up Monstas. Like, they sell out and they're waiting on more to come in, so somebody pre-orders one and then they deal with that. Like, I'm not gonna subject somebody to that, and let it be what it is. But that's kind of my feeling on that, and that's kind of why I don't really mess with that stuff. Just for that reason. And let's see, Jared says, but I do swing a torch. It's one of the best bats he's ever owned. Yeah, like I said, the Monstas are good. I will never go on record as saying that they're bad. I just don't feel like they're head and shoulders above everything else like some people feel. And maybe it's just brand loyalty coming out like it does in everything else. But hey, it's just one of those things. Oh, God, what's up? Got the Gordo Live Cisco in the house. What you doing, man? He said he swung a Monster as well. Nothing but pop-ups and grounders. I do. That's the other thing. I wish they would come out with like a true inload, because like swinging like their mid-loaded stuff sometimes, or what they consider an inload, which feels more like a mid-load, does kind of mess with my swing timing a little bit and makes me do the same thing with the pop-ups and the grounders. And I do know that they offer a handful of true inloads, or maybe something that would be heavier. And the fact that you can't get something in like a 27 or a 28, it just kind of drives me batty sometimes. Like, they're getting clear down into like the 23s and 24s, and that's just wild to me. But, if they're selling, they're selling. What do I know? I'm just some rec player out here doing bat reviews and kind of doing my thing. So maybe, the joke's on me in terms of not knowing what's up with that stuff. But to me, I don't see the point in that stuff. Really, what I think it dwells down to more than anything is the fact that the technology in the barrel, the heavier they are, the better they're going to be. Just kind of from my somewhat of an understanding of how the FIB and all the it's not even the FIB, just the other technologies that have performance inserts as well. The heavier they get, the better they're going to perform. So in order to make the FIB better, in order to make the divergence gap better and stuff like that, you've got to go with a lighter bat, because the heavier stuff can't pass. So you make it lighter, and I do feel like some of the lighter stuff performs better than the heavier stuff when it comes to that technology, because otherwise I'm full send on anything that I can get my hands on, 27 or 28 ounce. But some of the LC bats, I will go on record as saying that I do think swing better in the lighter weights. And I do think that has something to do with the technology and how it's utilized as far as momentum of inertia and the mass behind the ball. Whether it be the weight of the bat makes it do too much, or even the fact that some of them aren't even available should also tell you something as well. Maybe the heavier stuff was just that good, and you can't figure out how to tone that technology down to be able to make it heavier. I think is kind of the other big takeaway, is not being able to tone the technology down to make it in a 27 or a 28, since the mass more times than not, in my opinion, will provide you with better performance. So, if you got that technology that's already doing great, you got to put it into a heavier bat, and it's exceeding standard, so you end up with, things like that. And, it just kind of is what it is. See, if ultimate distance was my goal with a combination of bat, it'd be, no question, it'd be some Ultimate Evils. Like, check out evilsports.com and get you some Ultimate Evils, because, man, I'm telling you, those things are fun to hit. No doubt, if I'm looking to hit, if I wake up one day and say, I'm going to go out and hit the furthest ball I've ever hit in my life, I'm going to go and get an old Adidas Melee 2 inloaded and some Ultimate Evils and just watch them fly. That's no doubt. Like, I personally feel like I can't wait to get into senior ball. Hopefully those things will still be legal and available at a reasonable price, because I will grab one of those and go to town. Fat Guy BP says, appreciate the love. Of course, man. I tell you, y'all better be checking that channel out. That's all I'm saying. Got to make this community grow. Got to make it grow. Got to make it get big. That's kind of one thing that I think is hard sometimes, is having a small niche of people. We've got, you could probably count on one hand the guys that are consistently posting bat review content, and that's it. It's not like you got car guys that have got, 10,000 different car guys posting, videos or whatever else kind of content you watch, video games, whatever else. There's not a lot of us, so we need to depend and kind of rely on each other a little bit to do things where, we help each other grow, and I think it'd be good for the community in general. So I'm always kind of like I say trying because I don't always, just because busy with everything else in life, and sometimes just honestly forgetful. But I try and kind of float around and chime in and poke around on some other videos and stuff, just to say what's up. Is just trying to get this community to grow. The more people that watch one channel, then those people could find another channel. Those people could find another channel from there, and the next thing you know, we're growing imminently. I'm not going to title this one "Words Are Hard." I'm just not. We're going to be growing infinitely, because there is a ton of slow pitch players out there, and most of this content is going to appeal to probably like the C and belower guys, and there's a ton of those guys show up at every ballpark every weekend and see how many there are, and see how many of them know that like we got guys posting videos and stuff on YouTube, and that's that many more people that we can have access to. That's kind of another reason that your boy is wanting to do shirts, is so we can get the word out. We can get basically every one of these shirts helps out the channel in terms of revenue, so we can create more content, as well as being able to be basically a walking billboard. Every time you buy one of these things, you wear it to the ballpark, somebody says, "What's the BP Hero?" And then you just say, "Hey man, check out the bphero.com." And then somebody comes to my channel, check something out. And then when, thumbing around through my channel, they might see me say something about Adam's channel, or Adam's channel might be recommended. So, next, it's just kind of one of those things. It just leads one thing to another. We all got to rely on each other here. Herd mentality, you might say. And it's not just in life. It's in social media platforms as well. And then, if shirts aren't your thing, you could also just get a hat. That'd be dope. You can reach out to me and get either one of those. The hats are in stock, and I do plan on keeping the hats in stock, kind of like some of my first stock items. So they'll be available at any time anybody needs one. I'm going to kind of see how it goes. I know there's been a lot of times where people have asked for hats and I haven't necessarily had them available or ready. So we're going to kind of see what we get here, and hopefully they take off, especially with some of the shirt stuff we got coming soon. I'm not going to spoil any of that yet. So that's that. As far as all that goes, I think we've covered just about everything we've got. Yeah, we have covered all of our topics today. If anybody's got anything else, you can feel more than free to chime in. Otherwise, we can just kind of hang out and chat it up for a little bit. No, Adam just got over the corona. I hope you're feeling better, man. That's I've heard of some pretty serious stuff. I'm lucky that I haven't had to mess with a whole lot of. My wife just actually got out of quarantine from being damn near expectedly. I can't read and talk. From damn near being directly exposed to the person. Person tested positive and gallivanted around the entire building telling everybody they were positive and that they were leaving, instead of leaving and then placing a phone call like I probably should have, but that's neither here nor there. Jeremy says, are you ready for the 240 bats? Yeah, absolutely. I'm more than excited. I've caught a sneak peek at the DeMarinis. I caught a sneak peek at the Worth and Mikan stuff. I'm excited for what's in store for those. Hoping to, I think, oh gosh, what was the last day? I think mid-March, somewhere around in there. But don't quote me on that because things change, because those dates have changed. So I wouldn't go around demanding bats or anything else just yet. But that's kind of where I'm at with wanting to do the 240s, is I just got to get them here. I know that Pierre has a couple out. I've supposedly got a friend of mine sending me one so we can get some swings on it, and hopefully on a nicer day and check that out. But I am dying for the 240s. Usually by now I've gotten at least a handful of reviews filmed. I like to get started on that stuff super early, so something comes up in the middle of the summer, or get out and get a chance to get plenty of swings in before you spend the weekends playing ball. Because a lot of times I'm taking my swings and filming my reviews on the weekends, so it's nice to be able to get that stuff in while it's good and early. But not having a whole lot coming in right now, it's kind of hard to do. See, Jared says, for distance, with any old Easton IMX with 2,000 plus swings on a hard ball. Yeah, that Easton IMX stuff with tons of swings on it was a lot of fun as well. I do actually think somebody asked me what I'm gaming this year for 2021, and it's gonna be the same thing I swung last year. I don't have any intention of changing until I have to. I will be swinging the Pure Integrity that I gamed last year. It's still sitting in the bag. Got lots of paint chips on it. Got lots of swings on it. It's not looking too good, but it's feeling plenty nice. So once it goes, I'll bust out the other integrity unless something else comes up in the meantime. There's a slight possibility without leaking too many details that might have to dabble down the road of Easton for the team that I'm playing on, but I don't know 100% for sure yet. A lot of things are still up in the air with that. But if I have to swing an Easton, then it's going to be OG Travis Clark life. And I've also got an Easton Resmondo Motherload sitting on the back burner as well, because that old Trav's got plenty of swings on it, and it's feeling pretty good. So if it's going to die out on me anytime soon, then I've got the Resmondo as a backup. See, like right now, like waiting on more questions or something else to come in, or just kind of reading through the chat. I feel like that music would be just kind of like a good thing to break the awkward silence, you might say. You're been on a date, and it's like the conversation kind of dies off for a minute, and you're just kind of sitting there like, It's always awkward. Get that Flip Juno final chapter. So a friend of mine actually bought one of the last Junos that Headbanger had, my boy Skates, and I'm hoping to get hooked up with him and get some swings on one of those things. Supposedly they're having some durability issues, and I guess it's been addressed somewhat. So we'll see. I don't want to get too carried away with beating on it, but we'll see what happens with it. Distracted again, sorry. So, we'll see what happens with it. I would like to get out and get some swings on that thing, because, like, just from watching, of course, the major guys get hit with a broomstick, but just watching, like, the Challenge Cup, the Major Series Open, whatever, Challenge Cup, seeing some of the guys swing those Junos, man, they sound good. They sound really good. So that kind of got me excited. Sometimes sound for me is a big thing with a bat, just like it is with everybody else. I talk about that with the ASA stuff, where sound can be a big difference maker. And I'm looking forward to swinging the Junos. So hopefully getting hooked up with him to swing one of those soon. I think he got the MR1 prototype thingy, you call it. Matt Bryant says, what's for lunch? Man, I tell you what, kind of funny you mentioned that. So I'll tell you what's for lunch. I'm going to tell you right now. So we got, if anybody is in the Columbia, Missouri area, if you're in Columbia for work that day, whatever it might be, you need to go check this out. Lily's Cantina. They are, where'd they say they are at today? I think, I won't show. Okay, yeah. So they're going to be over at the Veterans Hospital today in Columbia. If you're in Columbia and you have not had this food, or even if you have, go back and have some more, because it is phenomenal. Their food is ridiculous. I love it. It's so good. Like, they could start a restaurant cranking this stuff out, and man, I'm telling you, it would be out the door and around the corner. The line would be to get in this place. Absolutely love their food. So I'm going to go hit some cage bombs with my boy Brian here in a little bit, and then we're going to go to Lily's and hit that up. Probably just going to get the chicken tacos, try to stay a little bit on the lighter side, because they're not shy with their portions either. Their quesadillas are really good. The chicken tacos are really good. Their nachos are really good. If you're feeling frisky, you can get the garbage burrito. That thing is a monster. Those things are really good too. Their food is very good. I really enjoy it. I'm looking forward to going and getting me some of that for lunch today. That is what's for lunch. Let's see, do that. What's everybody else having for lunch? Man, what do you have for lunch, Matt? Adam says, you got any big boy size shirts? Yeah, man. So I'm ordering that stuff. The short order buy-in is closing tomorrow. So if you want one, just hit me up and we'll get you one. Get you fixed up, buddy. Jeremy says it swung a flip in Texas. Flip said they had to scale back the performance at the first batch. Yeah, so I'm guessing what he means by scale back performance also comes with the break-in period as well, is kind of what I'm guessing. Yeah, and I'm sure that some of the guys did break the Junos at the Challenge Cup. It was cool outside. They are hitting stadiums, and I'm sure those things were broken in before they got there. The two-piece Genesis, yeah, I'm curious to see what the two-piece Genesis will be about. Curious to see if it's actually going to be like a Genesis barrel on a two-piece setup. Supposedly that's what the Salute was last year. I didn't feel that way, but that's what they were saying. CJ, I haven't heard a whole lot about the Prodigy bats coming out. As far as I know, everything that they're coming out with for now is seniors. And kind of some of these pop-up bat companies, I'm really kind of indifferent on. Cause I like the, what do you might call it, the Chinese eBay per se. I can't remember what it's called, Al Bobby or something like that, whatever it is. So somebody has figured out that somebody over there is selling basically just blank bat shells. I say blank bat shells. It's a blank bat. It's just black. You can get them whatever graphics you want. I do believe the vendor will modify and tweak to your specifications, but you can buy shells online. Like Jamie Baker, which is another one of our content creators in this slow pitch community, he actually bought one and put some swings on it. It came straight from there to him, black bat, no graphics, no nothing, and put some swings on it just to see. And he said it felt like a couple of the other companies that have kind of came out with some of these pop-up bats just out of nowhere. And I think that they might be good, yeah, but just be leery of what you buy with some of that stuff, because I do know there's other manufacturers that are made in China, but we don't know a whole lot about who is making these bats. Are they making them all to spec? Is it going to be one of those things where they just get sloppy once demand comes in? Because as you see more of these pop-up bat companies come up, it's going to be more demand for them, which means they could get sloppy and sending stuff out. Stuff ends up out of standard. It's hard telling what could end up happening with that. Or it could be somebody, submitting a senior bat or submitting a U-trip bat for standard, and when it passes, then they order, 1,000 of, whatever bat there is in a senior and do it that way, and then they end up getting in trouble. Odds of that are slim, but that's kind of the vibe I get when it comes to stuff like that. Some of the smaller company stuff or anything like that. It's just kind of a weird feel, and not really sure how I feel about any of that stuff as far as like the overseas stuff, like the Prodigy bats, or there's a couple other bat companies as well, but I'm not going to dive down that road. Prodigy was what came up, so that's what I'm here to talk about. See, Rob says, I played in an ASA league with 44 375s. Most guys are swinging Anarchy or Juggy. What are other options? Oof. Really, those are really the only things that I would suggest. Anarchy, their X-Core stuff just destroys the 44s, and so does the Juggy. Something else you may want to look into is like the Mercy. But as far as like ASA stuff that's going to hit that harder stuff well and perform like top-notch, really that's about your only options, because ASA outdated the 44 375 quite a while ago. It's not saying that some of these other bats won't hit them well, like the say stuff like the Creature and stuff like that, but I mean, be happy every game you go home and your bat's not broke. Especially, you're going to hit up one ball hard with it, and then somebody else on your team's going to want to swing it, and the next thing you know, you got everybody swinging your bat, hitting nothing but 44s. And what I would suggest, which is what Eric just said, is going with kind of one of the older Eastons, not like the Ghost line, but think something back like the L4. So you had the L4 and you had the L6 in 2013. And then in 2014, you had I think you still had the B3. No, yeah, you still had the B3. So you had the B3 in 2013 as well. And then in 2014, you had the B3. And I really like the B4. Nobody really talked about the B4s back in the day. And so you got the L3, which was a two-piece short barrel. I felt like those were okay. But if I had to swing like on one of the older Eastons, it would definitely be something from 2013, and make sure it's got a boatload of swings on it. Albert wants to know if I've swung any of the balanced pures. I have not swung any of the balanced pures. I've swung some of the lighter inloaded stuff. And I do know that Pure does have an issue with some of their balanced stuff feeling balanced. It'll still swing light it's like, say you get a 26 balance. It'll still swing like a 26, but it's going to swing like a 26 with a little bit of an inload to it. Just kind of one of those things. Maybe they don't have their balance weighting nailed out completely yet, but I will say compared to their version of balance, that's the other thing too. Everybody's company's idea of a balance bat is going to be different. Some may have like a true balance bat where there's no weight in the end. Well, where it feels like there's no weight in the end, and other companies aren't. Like Pure's balanced bat is balanced compared to their in-loaded bats. And the same thing with like the kind of the one of the things that people used to go on about was like the Easton ST100, talking about old Eastons. Like the Easton ST100 and kind of the B3 and stuff like that was, the B2, I guess would be U-Trip, is, they didn't swing like a true balanced bat. They were big barrel, but they still had what people would consider a little bit of an inload to it. But it was just because that's what Easton considered balanced. You pick up a B2 and then you go to an L2, there is a difference. And that's just what Easton considered balanced in their offerings. That's just really all it boils down to. Yeah, see, Adam said the same thing. They swing like they have a half-ounce inload. But compare it to a bat from them that actually comes with a half-ounce inload, and you would feel the difference. Man, y'all got me talking. I ain't even finished my breakfast yet. Okay, Matt having leftover pot roast for lunch. That's not a bad play either. Got some leftover pulled pork in the fridge. I think we're going to do that for dinner for the kids tonight. Been back on this diet grind a little bit, so I'm kind of doing my own thing as far as meals and stuff go, but I still try and make my own food and eat with the kids. Just so we can get that fam time in, Anybody got anything else? What's everybody... I know we probably got a different cycle of viewers than we do. What's everybody got going on this weekend? Is anybody playing, or is everybody kind of hanging out waiting for football? Let's see. There's one other thing I could show you guys real quick. Oh, man, me, I'm popping off. Hey, everybody talking at once. Just hang on a minute. I can't read that fast. So, Tokyo getting ready for the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's the only thing on my agenda, too. Hopefully, hopefully it's going to be a good game. I think I'm going to fire up some munchies for that night. Always got to have the football munchies. Adam says they got softball all around him everywhere this weekend. Eric says, when am I going to get Mrs. BP Hero to go hit again? Man, I had to do a lot of begging that day. She likes playing. She's not real big on going out and spending a lot of time practicing for the little amount that she plays. And I get that. Like, she's pretty much just scaled it back to league only. And it's like, one night of league a year. And she's content with that. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I have no qualms against that. That's her thing. That's what she wants to do. And she's not, opposed to me going out and playing the men's ball and doing all that stuff. She actually likes going and watching me play. That's kind of one of her favorite things to do, is just spend the day at the ballpark, going and watching everybody play ball and do that kind of thing. She's into it. She's just kind of over the competitive tournament stuff and just likes to play league. And she just doesn't want to go out and put in a ton of BP when she could be out doing other stuff just to be prepared for league. So she'll go out and probably take a handful of swings soon. Maybe we could get the new Mercy and Lady Cartel and let her get some swings in on those again when Headbanger sends those out. I do know that she does like doing that kind of stuff just because it's, it's bats for girls. I'm going to try and get a handful of other women to come in and hit those bats as well, just because it's, it's for the ladies. It's for the girls. So you got to have the girls swing them. Danny says he's going to cage VP and shed hunting for deer antlers. Aha. I know I got a handful of friends that do that stuff. They like go out and like trying to find the deer sheds and do the arrowhead stuff. It's kind of neat, some of the stuff they find out there sometimes. Hukalani says BP on Saturday, then football on Sunday. No tournaments this weekend. Yeah, I might get some swings in on Saturday. I don't know. I can't remember if our guys are playing this weekend or not, but if they're not, I'm probably going to go try and get some swings in on the turf. Taking a trip to northern Idaho. Matt, what is in northern Idaho? Come on now. It's just a bunch of potatoes out there, right? That's all there is. I think that whole place is nothing but potatoes. Ah, yeah. You're in Tampa Bay, so ain't nothing going on around there because everybody's getting ready for the Super Bowl. So has anybody heard, I just haven't been keeping up with it, is the stadium going to be full capacity for the Super Bowl? 'Cause that's going to get wild. Cisco says he's waiting for California to open back up for leagues. Got some good news in that regard. Hope it pans out. Yeah, hopefully so, man. I know the California guys have been on lockdown for quite a while. From what I've heard, some of the people even they go show up at a ballpark to hit, and people are running them off. So that sucks, man. It leaves you to try and hide indoors somewhere and hit, or go hit somewhere remote and hope nobody finds you. And that's just kind of crazy to have to do that just to get swings in. Jordan playing in the 20th in Salem. I haven't been down there. I've heard a lot of people going down there and playing and having a good time, but I've never been down there. Am I going to do more tournament vlogs? Yeah, that's the plan. So I tried to do a couple last year, and whether it was just trying to make sure that I was constantly updating the vlog, or honestly just being a little too busy trying to, it's a lot sometimes to try and help Brian in any form or fashion that I can to kind of make the day go smooth for him. And then trying to get all our live stream stuff set up, and then trying to make sure I'm vlogging, and trying to make sure I'm ready to pitch for the next game. If I'm just, happen to be on the bump that day, me and Brian kind of go back and forth as according to kind of what the team is vibing with and everything else. And on the days that I pitch, man, it's hard for me to do much more than stay ready. And kind of the thing too with the pandemic is just not doing a whole lot in between games. Usually I would be kind of out mingling and doing that thing and going out and seeing other people and bouncing around the field to field, but I just don't. I haven't been doing a whole lot of that. I'll go hang out in the car. I'll go run somewhere. Maybe get a bite of food like at a drive-thru or something, just to kind of kill some time in between games, or just go to the car and watch some YouTube stuff. I know that's boring, and I know that some people don't have the same belief I do, and that's fine. But that's just kind of where I'm at with that. So Errol says it was 25,000 attendance. Yeah, because I knew somebody bought a Super Bowl ticket for what was $160,000. That's insane just to go watch a football game. Of course, that was for a good seat too, but that's just pure insanity. I bet that they won't miss out on revenue from not selling so many tickets, just based on the fact that the tickets they are going to sell are just going to be for insane prices. Adam says they might participate in the Hit Tracks tournament. Yeah, so how's that work? I guess just, Hit Tracks tells you hit or no hit. So you just get in there and do that. That would actually be kind of fun. There's somebody that's got Hit Tracks. I think they're about an hour south of me. I haven't been down there yet. I'd like to check that out. And I never thought about having a tournament. That would be kind of cool. I guess you just get a group of guys together and do that. That would be fun. Oh, Matt trying to get about that outdoor life. He said, believe it or not, they have slow pitch. I'll be damned. I guess if you go to the more populated areas, they probably would. That'd be cool, though. The outdoor life is definitely a good thing. I grew up in the sticks, and I'm going to tell you something. There's nothing like it. I grew up in the sticks my entire life, and then moved to the city when I was 20. I say the city. I moved to a town of 13,000 people. But where I came from, a town of 500, 13,000 seems like a city. But going from one to the other I've pretty much lived in town ever since, and I don't mind it, don't get me wrong, but I want to be out in the country again for a multitude of reasons. But I like where I'm at now. I love my house, and that's kind of half the reason that I'm like, maybe this wouldn't be too bad. Because one thing about being out in the country, remote and away from everything, is you don't have to deal with other people's crap. And that's one thing that being in the city, town, whatever, has... you gotta have thick skin sometimes to tolerate the people that live around you. But the neighborhood that I live in now has a homeowners association, and I'm hoping that that's going to help kind of curb some of that and take care of that. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't blame you for wanting to get to be part of that outdoor life. So Adam says the Hit Tracks tournament is 2 to 3 man teams with 2 inning games. That wouldn't be bad. So I guess you don't keep track of who's where on the bases. I guess it don't matter. It's not like you're running. I was just thinking, would you have to hit runners around? But I guess that makes sense. You just have 2 or 3 guys. Probably help keep the crowds down too. As far as everybody just standing around, huddled up, waiting to do their thing there. That sounds like a lot of fun. I may look into that for the Hit Tracks that they have down south of me here. Matt says he's Hawaii, baby. So hopefully you can handle the cold. It's one of those things, once you get used to it, you'll be just fine. I talked about that earlier. Working outdoors for basically my entire life and then going indoors, losing that conditioning. So you'll get it. You'll get there. But all right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up and get going because I got to go hook up with my guy, Brian, to get some BP in. Get us a few cage bombs since it's raining here today. It's supposed to be snowing this afternoon. Yee freaking haw. So thanks for stopping in and checking out the podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget, the shirt pre-order closes tomorrow. Got hats in stock. You can hit me up, get you a hat. You can reach out to me on either Instagram or Facebook. I get back to you and get you a hat, get you a shirt ordered, whatever you may need. I'll get you taken care of. Thanks for stopping in and checking out the podcast, guys. Same time next week, Thursday, 9 a.m. You guys seem to be vibing with that, so that's what we're going to run with. I'm going to put the feeler up so everybody can already have the link. Set your alarm on your phone with the link in the description, and you can just click on it, and it'll be there waiting on you when I see you guys next Thursday at 9 a.m. Until then, swing hard in case you hit it, and I'll catch you next time.